Good morning, guys. It is a quiet, meditated morning for me today. I saw a video on YouTube regarding a neurosurgeon who also quit his job after 9 years of being a doctor. And I was stunned and fascinated, and I can relate to it. I'm not sure how this video is gonna go, but I just wanna give my thoughts. For those who are new, by the way, my name is Pia. I used to be a flight attendant for over 10 years in the Middle East. And now we're back here in the Philippines for good. So we are starting our small business here. We are now into farming. And I can relate to that moment where that neurosurgeon said that if he continues to work until he's 60, he's probably not going to make it because he knows that it's not sustainable. And for me, when I was still a flight attendant, it was actually hard to imagine of me quitting because for the longest time, it was my dream. It was my dream job. I've even tried too many times just to get the job. I've actually applied only to one airline, and good thing I made it. But it took me about 2 years before I was able to get the job. And so when I finally had the chance to work as a flight attendant, during my first few years, I told myself, I'm never gonna quit because I am living my life. That was my statement for, I guess, 1 to 3 years, because I was really very excited every time I go to layovers and see beautiful places, new places. I haven't really imagined myself being able to see those places in person. I was very, very grateful. And then after probably 3 years, I started to have some thoughts of not really quitting, but probably part of it is lack of sleep and burnout. But it was not totally, I would say, complete burnout. Thing is, when you keep on doing the same thing again and again, it becomes like a routine. So after 3 years of flying, I felt like I was going to the same countries in the same places most of the time. So it was like every other month I am able to see this place again. So the excitement actually went down. So yes, there was money. Actually, money was really good, especially for me. I am from the Philippines, so if I send money home, it's actually a big difference. I'll probably be earning more than lawyers, doctors here in the Philippines, if I may say, doing the job that I love. So for many years, I was really very grateful for what I have achieved in my life. So 3 years have passed and I still continued to fly. It was already routine for me to say, oh, I was in Germany last week and I went to the US, some sort of, that kind of conversation. Everything was so normal for us. And I was enjoying it. And then 4 years, 5 years passed. I was feeling the same way. I have this feeling of um, love-hate relationship with my job. And I would always say that I did not regret that part, that I continued to actually work even if I felt like I was already stuck. Because even if it was a love-hate relationship, I would say that there's more love to it than the hate. The hate comes when I didn't have much sleep. And so when I'm able to still push myself, be able to reach the destination, I become happy again. And then I became a supervisor and be a purser. So I've reached the top position as a cabin crew in our company, okay? It was actually very, very fulfilling job for me until one day I realized that if I keep doing this thing all over again, I probably will not be able to survive. Because you see, okay, people who didn't experience the aviation will never understand this. For me, if I know that I'm no longer happy with what I'm doing, I'd better quit. Because it will be a waste of my time if I keep doing the same thing again and again and, still unfulfilled. So it took me about 10 years before I finally made a decision that, okay, this is enough and I have to move on. I was also glad that I have a very supportive husband who was with me, but not in the aviation. And he told me, yeah, let's go home and let's build our own company. Now we are into farming. And so far, so good. We can pay our bills. We get to see our parents, our families. We get to spend special occasions with them. It's a very simple living, but fulfilling. It's not like what I had before, where, yes, I get to see so many beautiful places, but I felt really empty. At first, I would say I had so many favorite places that I've been because those were my first times. Until it became like, a routine for me and it became like an ordinary thing. I'm very sad to say that your travels will actually be meaningless if you're not able to spend it with the people you love. Because even for me, when I scroll on my pictures and memories, yes, those are really nice memories. And not being able to spend it with my loved ones, because I can't share those experiences with them. I wish I could just say, okay, I've been to this place, I did a massage, and I went to see the mountains and all those stuff. But it feels different when you're able to actually talk the same thing with your loved ones who can relate, if you know what I mean. So yeah, we decided to go back home because that's what our heart is telling us. And then we're back here in the Philippines, and things could be difficult actually. But the good thing about it is that I don't really have to think about waking up in the middle of my sleep, which is really very unhealthy. And I wanted a sustainable lifestyle because our life as a flight attendant before was a very fast-paced lifestyle that today you have a certain flight to do. You get to sleep probably, well, you are lucky if you get 8 hours of sleep, and then you go to another city, and then you adjust your body clock again. It is very difficult. I mean, again, only people who are in the aviation industry will be able to understand what I'm trying to say here. And so yeah, um, I didn't regret me quitting my job as a flight attendant. It was my dream, yes, but it is not a sustainable job. You're just killing yourself. Okay, a lot of people don't understand this, especially the new ones. Okay, I would understand because I was in that position. They will never understand that one day you'll get tired, and one day probably what you're feeling right now will not be the same anymore as you fly for many years. And so my realization is that if you are no longer happy with what you're doing, just quit and do something else. Because, life is really very short if you keep on pushing yourself, even if you don't like it anymore. And that part of my life is only a season, okay? If you ask me to go back to flying again at this moment, I'll probably say no. I'm not gonna go back unless if I'll just be traveling as a passenger, but not as a crew, because I know how it feels. And yeah, people change, and I'm very, very grateful that I have experienced that part of my life. And yeah, I guess that will be it, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.